All right, John, some Democrats are saying that white men are the real danger, not the Syrian refugees. Here's what the Dallas mayor had to say on MSNBC.
I am more fearful of large gatherings of young white men that come into schools, theaters, and shoot people up, but we don't isolate young white men on this issue.
John, your reaction?
First of all, I just want to note that coming on your show and hearing that and then being unable to talk triggered me. And I may need a safe space to go on. But I'm going to persevere for you, Gina. Yeah, first of all, if I remember correctly reading about that guy, he lives in a 92% white area. So I appreciate his willingness to live in his own little private Compton there and be willing to go ahead and risk that. Two, I've looked up some stats on this. You know, if you look at mass stats about mass murderers, they break down roughly with the population. White people are actually a little underrepresented. About 64% of mass murderers are white. Asians are actually overrepresented for some reason. Latinos are underrepresented, and blacks are right about on numbers. So if you're talking about who's more likely to go out and shoot something up, it breaks down with the population. Also, they're mixing apples and oranges. Some nut going into a theater is a terrible thing. It's occasional, you know, it doesn't happen very often, but it's not terrorism. It's not the same as somebody coming over here trying to blow up, you know, a building because they think God told them to do it, because they believe that's what the religion tells them they have to do. It's a very different thing. And what he's doing is very dishonest because he doesn't want to deal with the real issues.
Well, and I mean, isn't the real issue that the Democrats are hell-bent, John, on bringing these refugees because they believe, since they're takers, that ultimately that most of them will be takers. Most of them will then subscribe to their, hey, your votes are in exchange for free stuff like the illegals do. And if they admit that even one refugee is a terrorist, then they have to start to look at all their policies, like illegal immigration, like sanctuary cities with Kate Steinle. Isn't it just that this issue could expose what their real incentive is in bringing these people here?
Well, first of all, that's correct. Roughly, if you look at statistics of refugees from the Middle East, roughly 90% of them end up basically permanently on welfare or some form of the dole. They don't cut it here. The ones from Syria aren't going to either. The main language in that country is not English. And there's a lot of radical Islam there. You can be guaranteed that a lot of those people are going to love Sharia law and honor killings and all that stuff. Even if they don't love ISIS, they're still not going to be good fits for this country. I don't know why in the world we want these people. Here's a question. How do 10,000 Syrian refugees make life better for Americans? Now, let's say maybe 10,000 Sikhs might. They might add to the tax base, or 10,000 people from, let's say, scientists and doctors from Western Europe, or even, let's say, scientists and doctors from Mexico might. These are not the people the Democrats want. Like you say, they want people to come here and get on the dole and be resentful, and that's the sort of people they want. They don't want to sit here and say, how do we get the best people for America? They don't want them. The best people for America might not vote for them.
Rush Limbaugh trending, John, today for a third day in a row, saying that Ben Carson is probably not equipped to be president. When Rush says something, conservatives listen. Is this officially the end of the Ben Carson candidacy?
Well, I don't know if Rush ended it or the polls are ending it, but his numbers have plunged a lot lately. He is, I would say, pretty close to officially in third place now behind Cruz. So I like Ben Carson a lot. I've been saying for a while, I don't think someone who wants to get rid of Medicare can be elected president. So as much as I like him and I respect him, and I would be okay with him being president. If he's the nominee, he's a nominee, I'd be proud to have him as our nominee, but I just don't think he's the right guy.
All right, John. Well, we would have loved to have had you longer. We'll keep you longer next time. Thank you. So I think it was not your fault. Diamond and Silk got so excited. All the passion just blew our audio, and you were just on the receiving end of it. But it's good to have you, my friend.
Great to be on. Thanks a lot, Gina.
All right.